Hey everybody, Zach Butler YGO, back with a really fun deck profile. This is the deck I've been using pretty frequently for the last few weeks. It's a Bestial Stardust deck, and yeah, I just wanted to show you guys kind of what I've been playing with a little bit pre-Duelist Nexus, and now that the Duelist Nexus format is here, I'm going to be changing it up a little bit, but I wanted to show you what I've been working with, and yeah. It's pretty cool because you can summon Majestic Shooting Star Dragon a lot in this deck, actually. The card comes up quite a bit. It's very good, and I really like it a lot. With Crimson Dragon, it'll be even easier to summon now. You can play different cards like that. So that'll be options I'll be exploring, but I just wanted to show everybody a deck I've been having a lot of fun with since right after the OTS Championship. So we'll go in engine by engine, because that's kind of how this deck works. It's like a bunch of engines put together. So first we have the Bestial, so 3 Lubellion, 3 Magnemut, 3 Saronir, which is the second best one, honestly, because of Lubellion. Like, you can just send it as, you can just, like, generally, if you open up with a hand of Lubellion and Tuning, you'll Lubellion for Saronir, and then Saronir will send the other Lubellion later on in the combo, so that way you still effectively get there. And then 1 Baldrake, 1 Druisworm, 1 Beast, and 1 Regained. So I really like the Bestial cards a lot. One of the best things about them is that they're both defensive and offensive, so they're engine defensive cards, which is really great. They're really good against Pearly, because obviously you can banish the little cats from the grave, or even the big cats if they get there. They're decent in the mirror match. They're okay all around, except against Cash, and even against Cash, if they're playing Dimension Shifter in the main, you potentially can banish that. So they're just really strong cards, and I really like Beast and Regained. I think these are two of the best cards in the game currently. Regained is just an insane card, letting you loop so many resources, and Beast is great because it lets you play around Dark Ruler, which I like a lot. And that's actually come up for me quite a few times where Dark Ruler has been a problematic card. Then we have the Synchron engine, so I play 3 Tuning, 3 Stardust Synchron, which is, I would argue, potentially even better than Revolution and Assault Synchron, which is crazy because I thought those cards were going to probably be the best cards for this type of archetype ever, and then I realized how good Stardust Synchron is. So if you don't know what Stardust Synchron does, is on normal or special summon, you can search for a spell or trap that specifically mentions Stardust Dragon in its text. And you can also, if this is in your hand or graveyard, tribute a monster you control to special summon this, and when it leaves the field, it's banished. So it's 2 tuners in 1. And to go with that, the first engine we play is Stardust Trail and Stardust Illumination. So what Stardust Trail does is, if a monster is tributed, you can special summon it, and then if this is used in the synchro summon of a Stardust monster, you get a token, which is pretty awesome. It's also a level 4 dragon, which randomly does come up, and I'll explain that when I get to the extra deck. Stardust Illumination is a foolish burial for Stardust cards, unless you control a Stardust dragon or synchro that mentions it, and then you can special summon the monster instead. So a lot of the times what you'll do is you'll summon this, search for Illumination, send Trail, and then you'll synchro away the Stardust Synchron, and then you'll tribute a monster later, bring back the Synchron, bring back the Trail, and then you have another level 8 synchro right there, which is really cool. The other engine I play with it is Arrive in Light, Converging Wills Dragon, and Omni Dragon Brotar. So this is an engine I really like a lot, because what it does is Arrive in Light, on activation, puts a level 1 dragon on top of your deck, and you can use each of the other effects once per turn. You can only do each one once per turn. When a synchro monster is special summoned, you can either draw a card or special summon a tuner from your hand. So what'll happen is you'll, if you want to go into the Majestic Shooting Star line, you'll search Arrive in Light, because it does mention Stardust Dragon, with Stardust Synchron, activate it, and then put Converging Wills Dragon on top of your deck. Then you'll synchro summon it into like a Bestial Dispowder, and then you'll draw a card because they Arrive in Light, and you'll draw a Converging Wills Dragon. And what Converging Wills Dragon does is, if you draw it, you can reveal it and special summon it. Then if you control level 7 or 8 dragon, or level 7, I think it's level 7 or higher, level 8 or higher dragon synchro monster, you can special summon a level 1 dragon from your deck. So that's where Omni Dragon Brotar comes in, because you'll have the Dispatter, you'll special summon the Converging Wills Dragon, then since you special summon it and you control Dispatter, you'll special summon Brotar. And then Brotar can discard a card, obviously, and search, but you'll usually search for your Chaos Dragon Levianeer. and that'll give you the ability to hand rip as well as make Majestic Shooting Star Dragon, which is really cool. You can hand rip, make Majestic Shooting Star Dragon and spheres off of just, you can do a lot more than that, but that's just an example of like what you can do off of just a Lubellion and a Stardust Synchron. There's way more intricate combos you can do, but that's like a really easy one that I like to do a lot. And then for the more like classic Dragon Link stuff, I play 3 Chaos Space, this card's crazy, 1 Chaos Dragon Lumineer, Black Dragon, White Dragon, and Seyfert. My favorite thing about the Chaos Space engine in this deck is that it can search Lubellions, so you have 6 Lubellions in your opening hand, which is crazy. So your Bystials are very consistent. You also have all of these. And what's also really cool is that Branded Regained effectively acts as Chaos Space 4, because you can put back these when you banish them for each other if you have Regained out. So you can constantly get additional value out of your baby dragons. Then for the non-engine in the deck, I play 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. This is something I was trying last night. It was 3 Book of Eclipse and 3 Book of Moon. I basically just wanted to be able to make sure that the Pearly matchup is a lot easier, because I have 6 ways to draw into a way to counter Yeep, which is obviously the most problematic card in the deck. If they hard make a Noir, you can usually push through it. I've done it a few times. It depends on your hand composition, obviously, but usually they only can make it with like 2 or 3 interrupts, and you can usually push through 2 or 3 interruptions with this deck pretty easily. And then the last non-engine I was playing was 3 Infinite Impermanence. So you have 6 hand traps and 6 board breakers, which I really like having that balance of those there. That was the main deck. I think it was like 43 cards. It's a bit thicker than I usually go with, but because of all of the consistency cards, it's actually more consistent to go above 40 than to stay at 40. For the extra deck, you have Majestic Shooting Star Dragon. So when I initially picked up this deck, because the concept I saw was from I think it was a German OTS championship, I didn't think this card would ever come up. I just thought it was really neat. What it does is to synchro summon it, you need Majestic Dragon, which Converging Will's Dragon counts as, plus 1 or more non-tuners, but at least one of them has to be a Dragon Synchro. And it's level 11, so it's really easy to make because all you need is Dispatter and Converging Wills, and that's it. And then you can always get back the Dispatter with your Branded Regained, which is really quite nice. But what this does is it gains 1 attack for each Stardust Dragon or monster that mentions it in its text in the graveyard, so it can attack multiple times. Once per turn during your turn, you can select a what is the word I'm thinking of? You can just negate the effects of 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. And that doesn't target, which is really important. So cards that can't be targeted get bypassed. But then if your opponent activates a card or effect, as a quick effect, you can banish this, banish this till the end phase, negate the effect or the activation, and then banish that opponent's card. So you can actually do a lot of really cool things. You can just bypass potential problems. In the Pearly matchup, sometimes you'll banish the My Friend and just get it off the field, so it's removal. You can banish the spells, and that can be really problematic as well. It's just a really powerful card overall, and it's 4,000 attack, which is crazy. Then for the level 10 synchros, put these in order of summon. So you have your Baronne de Fleur, Bystial Dispatter. Those 2 come up like every game, basically. You're usually going to end on these 2. At least game 1. Games 2 and 3, you try not to end on both of these because of Super Poly, because of the Draco Quest. Chaos Angel, and then Changing. Changing never really comes up. I'll probably drop it. I just wanted to play it tonight. This honestly should be Crimson Dragon, because there are a lot of times where you can Crimson Dragon and you'll have Baronne out, and then you can just summon Dispatter for free. So this should be Crimson Dragon. I just forgot to put it in last night, and it came up a couple times actually. Then I play Scarlights, Savage, and Omega. Not sure how I feel about having so many level 8s. I wanted the Stardust, the Excel Stardust in here, just to be able to have a Stardust Dragon on the field so I could Illumination summon a Stardust monster from the deck and make Crimson Dragon more easily. That might be something to consider, but I do like having these. Savage has not come up pretty much at all, so I'll probably drop it. It's really just there for if you have like Stardust Synchron and one of the baby dragons. It's really more of a late game card. to kind of like lock down the game, but yeah. Then you have Striker Dragon, Heretic Seal, Azalea, Dark, IP, Unicorn, and then I played Underworld Goddess. This card is very important in this deck because you can definitely summon a bunch of bodies, and it's actually one of the ways you out-noir, and it was really good. The few times I've summoned it, it's come up, or the few times it's come up, it's been very good. So I really like having it in there as an option. I think if there's anything else worth noting in here. Most of these don't really come up. You're usually just going to summon Spheres and Striker Dragon, but the rest of these are just utility to have for later. Because you're more of a Synchro deck than a Dragon Link deck. But if they debarrier you, you can always just like pivot into just like Dragon Link, which is really cool. For the side deck, I sided 3 Droll and Lockbird. Just, you know, figured if I'm going to lose to Droll, they probably will lose to Droll, so I should play Droll. Duster and 2 Cosmic Cyclones for when I go second, because I sided a ton of board breakers. 3 Dark Hole. The reason for Dark Hole over Raigeki is because I am still afraid of the Ibly Lock and Click and Echo. I just don't want to have, like, the unfortunate issue of being locked. So Dark Hole is there for that. Evenly matched. Just for backrow decks and stuff like that. It actually just won me in one of my games last night, hilariously. I hate this card in general. I think it's not very good. But it was between that and Dark Ruler, and I wanted a card that actually gets rid of cards, so I decided evenly matched. Last night I played Kent Stortzel. He set 4 back row, one of which was anti-spell. I impermed his Barone, and then evenly, and he just lost the game. And then 3D barrier for when I go first, because it's just good against pretty much everything in the format except Kashtira. So that's the deck. Let's get this to 50 likes, and I'll go ahead and do some basic combos with it, and then a couple of test hands as well. If we can do that within a week, I'll go ahead and do that. If you like this kind of content, let me know with a comment, like, and a subscription, and until next time, have a wonderful day.